hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell.
Good morning. I'm just getting set up. I'm gonna hit the thumbs up. Morning, Chris. Welcome back. Jennifer, Nathan, Wendy, Laura. I'm gonna go grab some water and I'll be back in a little bit. Hit the thumbs up while you're waiting.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to
sorry.
pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my
vacation
ears,
guy.
guiding me through my hopes and fears.
Let me just.
Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter,
just
let us
getting
help
ready.
you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success.
I mean, I still got 6 minutes left on the countdown.
Every morning I wake up to the sound
Now,
of the trade.
Laura, it's not for paid subscribers today. I do have a paid one. It kind of leads into a paid subscriber. Normal lazy life. So I've been meaning to do a paid. I've got a watch list of stocks just in Apple Notes that I've got kind of up there and just sitting. And I want to share it with the paid subscribers, but I don't want to just take a screenshot and put it out there. There's got to be some thought behind it because you folks pay for kind of my thoughts behind what I do. So not just to put it out there. I mean, that's douchey just to put out, hey, go buy this and do this. I mean, if you want that, go and sign up for a tech service. I mean, even Alpha Picks is significantly more than that. They tell you when to sell and buy, but freaking, they also give you a full view of every stock, way more than I'm going to give you. Pre-market live stream, watch the Bitcoin pullback. I quit investing to pay off my mortgage and this happened. It is funny. I now recognize who's using Canva to do their, they're probably paying. By the way, these people are probably paying for thumbnails, and the people doing it, they're just using Canva. But so the broadcast today is really going to be about YOLO stocks and why they're necessary, why you need them, some numbers behind all of that. If you put $10,000 into NVIDIA 5 years or 10 years ago, what's the value? If you put 10,000 into Intel 10 years ago, and 10 years ago, Intel was still, hey, it's going to come back. It's the number one chip in every freaking PC. It's got to be good. And 10 years ago, NVIDIA was nothing more than a freaking graphics card. So, yeah. And I think the crowns, by the way, Nathan, I think they reset every day. I don't know. Full disclosure, YouTube is sending me like 5 emails a day. Start charging for the crowns. Yeah, Nathan, that's a real business, by the way. That is a real life business where you go on Fiverr and you make thumbnails for people. And if you get enough clients and you get enough reviews, it's a good freaking living. Yeah. I mean, Costco's under 1,000. I mean, some of these, it was clear that they were just overpriced. I mean, Berkshire Hathaway, I think it just had 6 days in a row it was up. But you're still seeing a pullback. Yeah. I mean, it's just got to buy in here at 473, 481. Again, the 4-hour algorithm is really good at this shit. Bitcoin's 2% down. But I got some lessons. So, yeah. Yeah, Chris, once you have the skill of trading, I mean, my accountant tells me to go and trade, to stop doing the podcast and go and trade. I'll make more money. And he's right. I will make more money, but yeah, but Chris, you and I are in different situations in life than Nathan. Nathan's still working for the man. Nathan's still putting in his time. So most of today, by the way, there's going to be a bonus at the end. And most of you will listen to the end or at least read the newsletter because, that's why you're here. But C3AI, their CEO, who I was never a super fan of. I mean, he's not a bad guy. I don't think he knew what he was doing when he was leading an AI company. That's just kind of my take on it. But that's not what I want. We're going to close that down. Let's see. What earnings today? PSX, Charter. Did Charter beat? Charter beat. Wow, it's down 11%. Wow, the earnings per share. Charter has me in a lawsuit, by the way. I can't stand them. I honestly can't stand them. I'm not supposed to. I have an NDA. I'm not supposed to talk. F you. Go ahead. Sue me. Sue me. F. Ugh, God, I can't stand them. But Decker's killed it, by the way. I mean, look at that. It's up 11%, 36% better on earnings per share because they were expected to lose. Yeah, those are all great YOLO bets. But you're in a bull market, Mike. Understand, in a bull market, those YOLO bets are fantastic. Holy shit, this one killed it. I sold out of this at 50. My thesis on gold was it was done. But the once you get into those bear, and that's what today's is hey, it's great while it's going up. And it's easy to hold on to shit while it's going up. But can you stand a 50% downturn? And do you think you have the smarts and the mental fortitude to actually pull out as it starts to go down 50% and then get back in? Because most people and most psychologists will tell you, most trading you don't. They will just tell you you don't. So we're going to take a look at Tesla. We're going to take a look at NVIDIA. We're going to take a look at ASTS. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin because this one, Bitcoin's pulling back today. We're going to take a look at, again, NVDA is just a good, solid company. So there's not many companies that I'm going to bring up today. But we're going to look at that chart too. So that's how we're going to start off. Yeah, and again, hit the thumbs up button if you are here. But it's going to be a pretty good, but it's going to be a short podcast. It's not going to be long. There's not going to be a lot of charts. There's not going to be a lot of, hey, we've got this opportunity, this opportunity, this opportunity. It's going to be a lot of, it will lead us into the other one. Calendar, pay Cobra. Rose is you're not on the live one, Rosa. Okay, by the way, so you guys know, let's go to YouTube. Let's see. That was the funniest thing ever yesterday, by the way. That was fantastic. Oh, look, he's having Tom from Tasty Trades. Notify me. I want to get notified of that one. 7:30 next week. Oh, wow. Mike's getting on there with, wow. Tom. So, okay. At 51, I flipped the switch. You're flexing there, dude. That's all that is. Just so he's flexing. $10 million pre-market scanner. So this guy's redoing the scanner, I guess. If you ever are on live, so here's how to know that today's live is on mine. Let's see, view channel. So to know that thumbnail right there means I'm live. If you look at the previous live ones, my favorite podcast to listen. Oh, that was a good one. If you look at the past live streams, I changed the yesterday, Kevin, I mentioned VST, but VRT is VRT is a stock that I also own. But this thumbnail, this white one right here, live now, that's going to be the thumbnail when I'm actually live. Okay, if you're watching any other thumbnail of a past live stream, it will have the red bubble in front of it to be a past live stream. And I don't think I've ever gone over this. I probably should, but I changed the thumbnail to try and tell folks. And there's this video course series which I kind of put out there. Tools I use, Trendspider and Seeking Alpha. That says 13 videos. Shorts. My shorts are okay. They're not great. The live recordings of past podcasts, that's there. And then this is the daily stock pick. This is the actual podcast. And then I might start doing 1 minute stock analysis again. They're kind of cool videos to do because it's just, hey, this is stock I'm looking at. Here it is in 1 minute. Do you want to invest in it or not? I'm not telling you it's going to make money, but here's what I see. So I may do that kind of stuff again because it's pretty good. But that's kind of the way to view this this YouTube channel is if you do see this thumbnail, I'm actually live. So, yeah. You're welcome, Kevin. By the way, both those companies, VST and VRT, I like. VRT has earnings coming up next week. I don't know when VST has earnings, but VRT is one that I sold at 70. I mean, I sold April at 70 for a a tax loss harvest because I had purchased it. I haven't purchased it since, but you've got a juicy gap up here to 145. And that with a good earnings, and I do think they will have good earnings. But that run right there just scares the fuck out. I mean, again, I'm in a different situation. So, morning, Jenny. So, okay. Let's go back to QQQ. And I'm going to start the podcast. Okay. Good morning. It is Friday, July 25th. I have a special one today. We're not going to go over a lot of names. There's just going to be a few names. But it's going to be about how I set up my portfolio to win when I was younger, how I've held on to things, what my philosophy is. This could be your philosophy, but it's a very good episode for a Friday, especially a Friday in July when we've hit all-time highs again. And there's all this uncertainty in the market. Because yesterday, I mentioned in the newsletter, and the newsletter's free. Go over to dailystockpick.substack.com, and you can see the news. The newsletter is 100% free. But I take you through exactly what I do. The newsletter is super, super simple. Let me just go back to the main one. All-time highs right here. This is yesterday's. That's what I was going to say. I didn't think that my take was yesterday's. So here it is. I mentioned that, on the live with Trendspider on Wednesday, that I went live on the air. I said, yeah, my first purchase was in 2005. And I mentioned the exact date. And I'm still holding those shares. So, and then I go through July 2020. It felt very much like today. We had just recovered from COVID. You were at all-time highs. It felt uncomfortable to buy. And you endured a 37% downturn after buying at all-time highs. Now, it didn't, not 37% from where you bought in July, but that didn't feel comfortable. Okay? This is just QQQ, but today you've doubled your money and it's 5 years. So the newsletter gives you little insights like that. And at the end, I include the scans. You'll see all my notes that I do this podcast on. So the newsletter, fantastic, fantastic resource for anybody that listens to this podcast. But let's get into today's. Because again, I mentioned yesterday that VOO and QQQ, you've doubled your money since 2020. If you bought at the all-time highs in July of 2020. So one mistake I've made. I didn't buy indexes early on. I call that a mistake. And it's a 54, almost 55 in 2 weeks, year-old Gary saying that was a mistake. The numbers don't prove it. But the mistake a 55-year-old would give to a younger person is hit your base of VOO and QQQ. Okay? I didn't. I was basically in on single stocks and I was doing it. It worked out for me. The large majority of people, it may not work out for. If you buy and hold, again, buying and holding is a tough thing. But I want to point out to you, QQQ, okay, I went all the way back to the max. This goes back to 1995. That's 20 years. QQQ is up 1,208%. Okay. SPY is up 1,809%. But a single stock like Apple is up 62,000%. You won't always find them. And I didn't invest in 1995 in Apple. I started Apple in 2004, 2005, somewhere around there. Same time I did Microsoft. Again, I got into large cap tech. They weren't large cap by then. They were just growth stocks. You know, Apple launched the iPhone. Microsoft had Windows 95, but it was in the lost decade. And I just liked the company. And I said, you know what? I didn't use charts back. I didn't have all the tools that I have today. But the point is that base of QQQ and SPY, those are very good returns and they're safe. Okay, so let's go back 10 years. 10 years. I didn't get into NVIDIA 10 years ago. Go back and listen to my podcast. Early 2024, it might have been 2023. I was saying NVIDIA is a great buy. There was a gap at 350. I was buying at 250. I said it's a great buy. I was pouring into the stock. I didn't get in early. This is a look 10 years ago. I didn't know what NVIDIA was 10 years ago. I don't think anybody knew what NVIDIA was 10 years ago. It was an effing graphics card. Intel was the big dominant chip player still. If you took 10 years ago and you took $10,000 and you said, you know what? NVIDIA's the great one. NVIDIA's the fantastic. You'd have $3,669,000 today. That's a great one. Okay. But that's 10 years ago. That's 2015. I don't think that's realistic. Some people, yes, they did that because they saw NVIDIA's, GPUs are going to outpace CPUs, and CPUs are the past. They knew that. I didn't. I didn't invest in Intel either. I didn't believe in Intel. I was a big Apple supporter 10 years ago. I bought more Apple. So I did perfectly fine. So is NVIDIA going to do another crazy amount over the next 10 years? Who knows? It's a $4 trillion company today. Demand continues to soar. So much so that in China, they can't get their hands on these H100s. They're actually fixing the broken ones. There's a huge business to fix the broken one. Demand is still high. But NVIDIA is trading at 173 at all-time highs. Should it scare you? Again, 10 years, 34,735%. The valuation, it's stretched for sure, but the PEG ratio, which includes growth, is significantly below the 2, which is where Peter Lynch and historically people like to buy. But it's a $4 trillion company. My thought on this is you can get to 5 trillion. You can get to 4.9 trillion very easily. Now that you've passed the 4 trillion, you can get to 4.9 trillion. And nobody's going to ask about market cap. Yes, it's the largest market cap in the world, but money continues to pour in. Look at the growth. They are growing 86% revenue year over year. You just heard Google say they are going to up their capital spend. That's what caused Google to even drop by 1%. Well, guess where that money's going? It's going to chips. Now, are they putting it into NVIDIA? Probably not. Google does their own chips, so that's probably Broadcom. And that might be where you want to go because Broadcom is growing 33% year over year. But their market cap is only 1.36 trillion. So maybe this has more room to grow. The goal is to find 1 to 2 of these kinds of growth stocks. Okay? Over 10 years, Broadcom, we can look at this. This one's only up 2,207%. It's not NVIDIA, but that's a damn good gain against the S&P. The goal is to find 1 or 2 of these companies that can deliver you 10,000% returns if you buy and hold. But guess what? If we put up an NVIDIA chart and we're just going to put up with a week, let's do a monthly chart, okay? Let's do a monthly chart of NVIDIA and going back 10 years, okay? You can see it going up. Let's look at that dip from the top to the bottom. That's a 60% dip one time, okay? Then you have 2021. That's almost a 70% dip. So within 10 years, even though you're up thousands of percent, you've had to buy and hold through that. You may tell yourself, I'm smart enough to get out as it's, you're not. So to have one or two of these in your portfolio, it's going to be painful. But you've seen how it performs. So what are the next 10 years going to look like? That's the goal of this particular podcast. What are they? Bitcoin, maybe. Maybe Bitcoin, I bet. This one may be one. Okay? According to a prime broker, Falcon X, an unidentified trader paid approximately $5 million in premiums to purchase Bitcoin put options expiring August 8th with a strike price of $110,000. The size and timing of the trade highlight growing caution among investors as macro uncertainty mounts. Here in Trendspider, I've got a Bitcoin watch list, and I can pull up the price of Bitcoin, and we can look at it on a weekly basis. You can go back to the beginning. Let's do a monthly on this one. You're going to have downturns. You don't even have a 200-day on Bitcoin's monthly chart yet because it's so new. That's 10 years. And that may not look like much, but look at that. That's not just 36,000%. That's 86,000%. Again, you're going to have to take risks, and you're going to have to identify, are you comfortable with these risks? And if you're comfortable with the risks, you're fine. Again, a 10% gain in a day on an earnings play, it's not going to change your life. Buying and holding will change your life. And maybe, again, maybe it's Bitcoin. Maybe it's space. ASTS is one that has been going nuts. But this is an expensive business. They've got to spend. So when you look at the valuation, they're not making money yet. They are not cash flow positive. Again, EBITDA, they're not. 18% short interest. And what does this tell you? What does this particular article tell you? It dropped 8% because they have to raise money. This is the company ASTS that's providing space services, space connectivity to AT&T and Verizon. It's a huge, remember, this is space. So this is going to be probably your main source of connectivity in the very near future. This is a good business to be in. And then you have yesterday, the other competitor to ASTS, which is Starlink, which is Elon Musk. They had an outage for 2 hours. And unlike your home internet, where your home internet can go down and it's just this regionalized kind of, this was the entire world was out. The entire world was out for 2 hours. That's risky. So when you go into SpaceX and you're saying, well, they have Starlink, wait until they have an outage. And then all of a sudden the stock is down 40% because they can't get it back online. It was 2 hours. Again, you're going to have to, and you can't buy into Starlink or SpaceX. You can't. You can with an ETF. Go and Google the ETF. Go and look at it. It's risky. Maybe one of the bets that you want to do is Tesla. Okay, maybe it's Tesla. But Tesla's down 8% yesterday. You're trading at 305. In pre-market, it's at 307. You have had to endure a long trail of tears if you bought and held Tesla. Okay, we'll just look at a monthly chart of Tesla, and you can see that's a great 1,000% gain over 2 years from 2018 all the way up to 2021. By the way, in 2021, where were you trading? At 293. That's 4 years where you haven't made damn money and you're sitting there and buying and holding. Maybe this is a good one. Again, had I put money, I bought a Model 3 in September 1st, 2018. And if we just move this over to September 2018, that's where it was, okay? If you had bought, you're up 1,500% today. If you had put $10,000 in, you would have $150,000. Remember, NVDA 10 years ago, if you put $10,000 in, you'd have something near $3 million, almost $4 million. 10 years? Is Tesla going to make you the millionaire, or is it going to keep you at $150,000? Again, you aren't going to time this perfectly. Now, maybe the next, we talked about space, Rocket Lab, which is also a huge growth company that's not making money because space is expensive. You could be accumulating shares with an option strategy. These guys are making 13% yield by selling puts, and they could get assigned the shares. So I'm way too dumb to follow this. I could be completely wrong. I thought this article, when I looked at Rocket Lab, was super, super interesting. Gets me FOMO. I am just way too dumb to do options. Again, I don't do options. But maybe that's a way you want to do it. Accumulate shares by using options and getting a yield. It's not a bad strategy. But understand, Rocket Lab, which is up 823% over 1 year, it's an expensive business. You will have to endure those 50% pullbacks. The point I'm making is that you can find all the stocks in the world and you can have 80 stocks in your portfolio. It takes one. But that's not great portfolio management. Okay? I need YOLO stocks in my portfolio no matter what age I am. I have determined, you know what? Even though an advisor tells me you've got to become more safe, you've got to reduce your risk tolerance, you need to get bonds, you need to do this, you need to do that. I know what my risk reward is. I have a solid base of compounding QQQ and VOO. Okay? If I want to take a $10,000 position in a stock, I can do it by selling those ETFs. Again, a 55-year-old Gary would tell a 20-year-old Gary, you need to do this and you need to have this base. 20-year-old Gary would say, you don't know what you're talking about, boomer. Get the hell out of my way. 20-year-old Gary was right, but risky. So you have to understand your risk tolerance. I learned this model from venture capital funds. They take their money and they have it deployed across hundreds of investments. You know, $1 million fund may have a $10,000 investment that could turn into $4 or $5 million. And then they could get out or they could go public and it turns into $1 billion. They do really well with that model, but it's risky. I've modeled my portfolio management like this over the years. As I've gotten older, I've gotten more into the VOO and the QQQ. The younger years, the risk tolerance that I had is not the risk tolerance that I have today, but it's because at 50, you may have 40 years. You're on the back nine of life. I mean, make no mistake. If I'm living to 100, I just started the back nine. So again, my message to everybody is realize your own risk tolerance. If you want to become risk, there are plenty of ways of doing that. Know your number. Know what number you want to quit your job at. And that's your goal. And then just journal your way to that number. Because if you have a stock that you do right or a trade that you do right and you model that multiple times over your life, and maybe it's buy and hold VOO, maybe it's buy and hold QQQ. That's the key. If you just go out there and buy it and you don't know what you're doing, that's just, again, that VOO and QQQ, you could point to it, well, I just want to buy this. A lot of rich people do. I got a question today about UVixy. okay, on Facebook. And I wrote back a pretty detailed answer. I thought it was good, because a good question to answer. But UVixy, okay, we can take a look at the VIX. I have said the VIX at 14, it wants to live at 20. It's at 15. It wants to live at 20. 20 right there at this bottom part, it wants to live at 20. And if you know that it's at 15, you can say, well, UVixy, it's a triple leveraged ETF on the VIX. So if we know it's going to go to 20, why don't you just buy and hold it till it pops to 20 and you make somewhere near 30-40%? Let me give you a Gary history lesson, okay? UCO, it's a triple leverage, and this is a real life thing that happened. UCO, a real life thing that happened, was back here in COVID, okay? In March. I said, oil, I think it was April, probably April. I was out hiking. You know, this was COVID, so I was out doing my thing. I'd already done my morning trades. My buddy, who I developed a 4-hour algorithm with, we said, hey, you know, we need to buy this because oil's at $5. It was somewhere at $5 per gallon. And we heard people on CNBC saying, hey, I didn't have the 4-hour algorithm back then. We had Active Trader Pro. We heard people saying at $5, it's got to go up. It's got to. Again, the VIX at 15, it's got to go up to 20. Why wouldn't you buy and hold this? Well, there's such a thing as reverse splits. And what happens during these reverse splits is that you start losing money. And it doesn't feel good. And yes, UCO, had I just held it here, April 2020 to August 2021, holding a triple leveraged ETF, I would have wound up positive. It was dead money. I decided to take my lumps. When the reverse split hit, you know, again, UCO, the reason it went down 81, you could, you know, here's the history. Oil was at $5 per gallon. Oh, they had to pay, yeah, $5 per gallon. So you pull it out, there was no place to sell it. They had to pay ships $20 on the futures market to pull oil out of the ground, and they couldn't stop pumping oil because that would shut down the business, and it costs you more money to actually turn the oil back on than to shut it down. I lost 80% of my money. Go and do the math. Okay, go and do the math. And I have notes on here. I said sell here. This was my friend who bought it back here. She made a killing. She made an absolutely killing on this one. And she said, well, why don't I want to hold it? Well, look, if she had held it, you know, over the last 3 years, she's down 58%. So triple leveraged ETF, go and do the math on UVixy. Okay, we can go and do the math. If you think that the VIX is going to spike, go and do the math during a time when it was similar to this. That may have been July 2020. And if you go and do the math, July 2020, and you have the timing, you can work it out. But I will tell you, if you buy it thinking, oh, it's got to go up from here, that's not a good thesis just from my history. You need to go into this identifying a loss. Say you want to risk 10%. You go into this with $10,000. You want to risk $1,000 to make $2,000. So you're going to cut your gains at $2,000 or above. You know, if you make it to 1,900, you're not selling unless you have paper hands. You're getting to 2,000, or you're going to cut it at 10% loss. And then if that works out, you've got a repeatable process. So journaling that trade is key. But don't just go into thinking it's got to go up, because I've made that mistake before. I am trying to protect you. Is there anything against this? No. Go and risk your own money. If your risk tolerance is, well, it's got to go up, go and do it. And if it works out, a high five. It hasn't worked out for me that way. And so the podcast isn't about giving you've got to do this, you've got to do that. It's about me and my history in this. And it just hasn't worked out. But I won't ever talk you out of a trade. I will say, you go and do you. Because I don't know your risk tolerance. I know my history. And I know my journal with UCO and triple leveraged ETF. I'm still holding TQQQ. And the reason is we're still in July and I am still up on it and I want a 10% gain. Let me go and look exactly what I'm up on it. Right now, it's in my Webull account and my total gain on TQQQ right now, 7.26%. But I told myself I want a 10% gain out of July. If I don't get it, I'm cutting it at the end of July. Next week, we have big earnings. Today, we had an enormous gain here. Deckers. They killed it. Okay, let's just go and look at Deckers right here on Earnings Hub. 36% upside. You can't see it behind my head. There we go. 36% they beat on earnings per share. They were expected to lose. They made money. 7% on revenues. Is this company coming back? Well, right now, it's still a strong sell in the quant. The quant may say, hey, they've turned a corner. Wall Street thinks it's worth $125. It's at 119 right now. That's a 20% gain from where you ended yesterday at 104. But you've got 15% of it after the earnings. Now, the 4-hour algorithm, let's look. Did it have you in? I don't even know. I didn't look. 4-hour algorithm had you in at 102. Kudos to the 4-hour algorithm. But would I have traded this? No. The reason the 4-hour algorithm over the last 2 years loses you 26%. Buying and holding makes you 14%. It's not in my risk reward category. So I want to know what's in my risk reward category. How do I do that? Well, you got big earnings coming up next week. Let's just go and look at the earnings. Because at 3 p.m. today on Seeking Alpha, if you are a Seeking Alpha subscriber, you will get a thing in this trending news right here, and it's called Catalyst Watch. And they set you up for next week by day. This is how I do my weekly research. And I will go in there and I will just look at what I've got for next week. Here on Earnings Hub, I took a look this morning. I just went over it. Monday, Celestica. That's a stock I own. Tuesday, I like SoFi, PayPal, Spotfiy, United Health, Boeing, Royal Caribbean, Corning, Visa, Starbucks, Mara, and Cake. I own 2 of these. Okay? One of them is a top Seeking Alpha stock for the year. Another one is an Alpha Pick stock. So I'm going to know that next week I want to take an eye on those. And if I've traded them in the past and I've done a trade that has worked, I want to do it. Now I'm buying and holding a lot of these based on the Alpha Picks portfolio. The theory on Alpha Picks is very similar to what I just showed you. They have plenty of stocks that are up 1,000% since they held them. I think there's 2 or 3 of them. Those are great. They've sold out of some of them, but the overall portfolio makes you 182% versus 64%. That's the theory of this portfolio. The way I'm currently doing it, as stocks start to win in the 4-hour algorithm and they're in the portfolio and they're a strong buy, I'm adding to them. Now, I'm not selling until they tell me to sell. This portfolio adds stocks. It's a rules-based portfolio. They add stocks on the 1st and the 15th of each month. So the actual management of this portfolio is not big at all. You're not doing something every day. But again, that's what this is. So Wednesday, you got VRT. You got GE Healthcare, you got Fiverr, which is always good for a pop. You got Microsoft, you got Meta, you got Hood, you got Qualcomm, you've got ARM, and you've got Carvana. And the biggest one that I love the setup on is Hood. Okay? They are expected They have lower expectations, 33 cents per share, where they announced last quarter 37 cents per share. And their revenue is expected to go down because the revenue expectation is 904 million versus 927 million. But let me point out to you, this is one I've wanted to get into, that they are going into earnings. And they ended April. The 4-hour algorithm got you in at $40. And you've made 200% if you followed and sold at the top. Now, I don't think you sold at the top, so maybe you're still in at 167. Again, the 4-hour algorithm is really good at this. Do I think that if they blow away earnings, this one can go higher? Absolutely, I think it can go higher. But it's extended from a valuation standpoint. So if I were still young, there would be no doubt in my mind, I'm buying Hood right here. I'm buying it right now. But for me being older, the risk reward is not there right now. I want it under 100. Right now it's trading at 101. I will buy this under 100. It will be a long-term buy. Okay, the valuation of this one is nuts, but I love the management team's aggression. That's how I'm going about this stuff. Now on Thursday, you've got MasterCard, you've got Ferrari, you've got Roblox, which has been in a huge upturn. You've got Amazon and Apple, which are two of my biggest holdings. You've got Coinbase, which we know crypto has just been killing it with MicroStrategy. You've got it. Reddit, Cloudflare, Roku, Riot, KLAC. I've put all these in my Apple Notes, and I know what I'm looking at, and I'm waiting for that Catalyst report to come out to tell me a little bit more news on some of these things. And then Friday, you got Big Oil, you got Chevron, Exxon, and you have the vaccine maker Moderna, which is always good for some pops up or down. And if it's down, any reaction in the market is an overreaction. So you've got to set yourself up with plans to be successful. And a bonus for anybody that listened this far, C3 AI acquisition odds jump with the CEO news. The CEO is stepping down for health issues. I have never liked this company. I have never liked the CEO. But this could be a good, if they are purchased by somebody. There is 19% shortage. So far this week, we've gone over the craziness in Open Door, the craziness in Kohl's, the craziness in Hims. We've got all short interest. This has 20% short interest, and the CEO is stepping down. And if somebody buys it, boy, get ready for that short to squeeze up. There's a little bonus for you. Again, these are little wins that you want to make in your portfolio, but the big wins will come with buy and hold, and they will be identifying leaders and growers. That's essentially it. So if you have any questions, hit me up. My email is over on Linktree. There are sales on everything, okay? Use my link. You go over to Trendspider. You can save 32% on Trendspider. Get the yearly plan, you'll get my 4-hour algorithm. And you saw me do all the research. Again, you want to do research. Have a tool to do research on fundamentals. Seeking Alpha Premium is that tool for me. Okay, it just so happens there's a bundle offer that saves you $160, and it includes Alpha Picks. And if you don't want Alpha Picks, you don't want this portfolio that beats the S&P, I can't imagine you don't. But if you don't and you just want Seeking Alpha Premium, you get a free 7-day trial and you save $30. Again, all the links are here on Linktree, including my newsletter. And make no mistake, this is a great resource for you to have. Look at the winners. I got an email, a comment yesterday. I'm into Hims just because your newsletter told me to buy it under $50. Now, that's not a strategy. But effing Christ, you're at $58. You bought that at $49? That's a great, great buy. Again, 4-hour algorithm got you in at 56. I think there's a cap here at 63, but it's another short squeeze. So this newsletter is an absolute must for anybody that listens to this podcast. Now, if you have any questions, you can hit me up. There's a chat section up here. You can chat with me. or just send me an email. Again, on Linktree, my email's up there. All of the links you need are here, including following my trades on Savvy Trader. So if you have any questions, hit me up. Ask me any question that you want. Have a great weekend. Oh, by the way, since you listened this far, there will be a paid newsletter. I am giving you, I have literally one Apple Notes, stocks I want to buy. It's a short list, not big, but it's a short list. And I'm going to give you 10 prompts for your favorite AI tool to make it a financial analyst. So I'm going to include that as a paid newsletter. It's going to come out today or tomorrow, but it'll come out. But if you have any questions, again, hit me up. Okay, I'll talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend. See you. Bye. Okay, was that a good one? Yeah, I think I did 2023. I think I did some in 2023. I'll tell you. When am I holding NVIDIA from? Let's see. Because I think I did sell a bunch, but it was for like a 200% gain or something. I was perfectly happy doing it. But let's see. Positions. Let's see. NVIDIA. Oh, is the market open? Yeah, the market is open. Positions. May 24th, 2023. I am up 479% on that. That's in one account. Let's see. And I know I've got it here. So let's see. Yep. This one, 2024 and 2025. And I am up on this one 76%. So I'm sure I sold in that account. So, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Let me put this into a... I thought that was one of my best episodes, by the way, to be honest with you. If you're just going to listen to one, that's how to make compounded gains. I mean, it's buy and hold, but you've got to make sure it's in the right stocks. And how do you know? You don't. You just don't. I mean, you take your chances. And nobody on the internet's going to tell you this is an absolute winner. And if they do, run. Run. Do. Okay. Wah. Okay. $7.25 pot. Wah. Ginny with the thumbs up. J Diamond. Bezos and Zuckerberg have been selling a lot. Yeah, but they sell to fund a lifestyle. I mean, they're not selling out. I don't think I don't think Tesla's 20 trillion, no. Newly added stocks to the top rated stocks list. Also, stocks just changed to a strong buy. No. And I think in Seeking Alpha, and I'm not a Seeking Alpha expert, I don't have their top stocks list. Their top stocks are typically, there's the top second half, there's the top 2025. So they don't update those at all. There's just, hey, we're going to have an event, we're going to announce this, and that's it. So it's a buy and hold kind of strategy. But there's the top quant stocks by market cap there. You can look at that. That's one of the ones that I have on my page. There is no way to get, oh my God, this is a new top stock. But I look at this page at least once a day. And I kind of, I know they do have a pro version, Vacation Guy. And the pro version, you can set those alerts. But I will tell you, the pro version costs like $3,000 a year. Is it worth it? I mean, I'm never going to say it's not worth it. I got an email from one person who did upgrade saying it wasn't worth it. I'm not on that plan. They want to upgrade me to that plan. They want me to start pushing it. I'm not quite sure I want to do it, and I haven't asked them for the upgrade yet. But yes, that top stocks, the top stocks and the top ETF, this top ETFs is going to change. They're going to have more visualization here. The stock screener is unbelievable. This is what, by the way, the top ETFs are going to look like. But you can see the top rated stocks. Carnival Cruise Lines, a great one that's just returned. I can't change the view, but that's a great one. Let's see, Carnival Cruise Line. I mean, I own this one. In fact, I own this one. This one got added November of last year to the Alpha Pix portfolio. Let's see, it was back here November 1st, I think it was. And November 1st at $22. And I wound up buying, at that time, I think I had 80,000 into the portfolio. And so, that's a $600, you buy 1%. And so I decided, you know what? I'm doubling down. And so I put like $13,000 into this, and I rode it to 26. I mean, I sold it the beginning of December. I remember at 26, 20% gain. So I made the yearly subscription fee of the bundle back if I were to do that just with one. So it's again, the tools are there for you to do it, but yeah. So you can, like, for instance, if you just set this alert on a stock, you can set an alert for when it changes. And you can get an email or a mobile alert. They help the Gen Z and the boomer who want email. But that's typically what I do is I'll go through some of my portfolio stuff here and I'll say, okay, and you also get an email. So if you set up a portfolio, like for instance, I think I have, I have my watch list. I had a portfolio of by month and I got rid of those because it was giving me too many alerts and I just wanted to kind of whittle it down. So I go through portfolios and I delete them every now and then. Steve Kress has a list of like thousands of portfolios, I think. So it's just about setting yourself up for success. That's all that is. Lazy Branch, sorting by date of when it was added, that's premium. And they give you that option. I'm sorry, it's the pro version. It's pro. And that's where it's like $2,000. So listen, they're a business trying to make money and they are giving you the value. I think they give you the value of, I don't even know what it is. Let's see what it is. What's premium now? $269. $269 is not a lot of money for what they give you, to be honest, for a year. I like it, but again, you can ask. What's nice about the office hours that they had on Tuesday is you can go in there and you can ask those guys, hey, is there a way to do this? Is there a way to do that? I'm not a product expert. I've got it set up so that, it's in a place where I'm comfortable with it. And full disclosure, if I stop doing this podcast and stop becoming an affiliate, I'm going to pay for this. I'm going to pay for this and Trendspider. I mean, both. You know, now I've got enough money, and I didn't make my money, you know, using these tools. I've just been able to optimize my money. Oh, Kathy Wood bought the dip. Oof. Okay, let's go to what Nathan loves, which is the Canva thumbnail. By the way, Nathan, if you haven't used this Canva AI template, oh my effing God. That's what you've got to use. Now, I know which one I want to use on this one. Recently used. And I've used it before. Let's see. It is the one with a... No, let's go. Let's go back and we'll... That's the whole reason you stay till the end. No, I want... Let's see. There's a similar one. There's that one. Yeah, maybe I'll do this. We'll shrink that out. And we're gonna let's do this would be 1,000 and do 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 do. And we're going to shrink this down a little. There we go. And I'm going to pull this down here. I'm going to pull. Oh. How do I do that? There we go. Logan, that's a you question. That's not a Gary question. And no, Nathan, if you go to your home screen, there's an AI up in the upper right. There's in the middle, there's like 3 selections and you can choose AI. But Logan, if you aren't on a buy and hold strategy, what would you consider your average % gain to be? That's a risk reward. Are you willing to risk, 50% to make 100%? Are you willing to risk, you don't want to risk 50% to just make 50%. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you want to risk 50% to make 10%. I don't know that that's a great one, but yeah. And I mean, that's the thing is you've got to learn on a trade when you should know on a trade when you're going to get out. And it doesn't mean, the top side, say you say, okay, I want to make 20% on this. And all of a sudden you're up 30%. You don't get out right away. You let it run. As it starts to show weakness and you start to get nervous, take your profits. And you can take them in steps. You can also take them all in one lump. But you've got to know before you enter that position. And I shouldn't say you've got to know. For me, I know exactly. Like, for instance, Newmont. I will show you a weekly. This is a chart where, I didn't, right here. Newmont Mining. I bought down here at about 40. Okay. This was February. I think I brought it to paid subscribers around 40. And I said, this is a good opportunity. And why? Because it's just pulled back. It kind of did that. And so my thought process was here, I'm going to get to that 200 day. Okay. That 200 day is right around 50. That's a nice 20% gain. Now, I didn't trust that it wasn't going to pull back, but I didn't get out at that 49. I waited a week or so, and I think I got out at 52, 53, somewhere in that neighborhood. And as I got nervous, I sold. Was I right? Well, it pulled back to that 200 day. I didn't buy on this one. I would have been smart to buy as it bounced back up, because then I would have gotten another 30%. Or I could have just bought and held. Okay? And that one's up like 60%. So again, I identified what I wanted my trade to be. Was it optimal? No. But, it's a good stock, and they killed it on earnings. This one's up, 7% today? So, yeah, Chris is different than I am. Chris is different. Everybody has a different stat, and there's no rules. That's one of my points to people is there's no rules. You make the rules. It's your money, not mine. You can follow me if you want. You can follow, my trades and do what I say. I don't know if you're going to make money because you're not me. If you want to buy and sell service kind of thing, then you go out and get one. But the caveat to this show is you make your own rules. I'm just here to give you a template of what seems to work for me. But if you don't like that particular rule or that particular, say you don't want to journal, don't journal. I can tell you, my friends that don't journal, they make less. They have less winning trades. And they actually have less percentage on wins. So I know people like that, but there are people who are successful without journaling too. There are successful people without Trendspider. There are successful people without Seeking Alpha. There are successful people who don't pay a damn thing for any tool. There are successful people who pay thousands of dollars for tools. Your journey is your journey kind of thing is kind of my rule. Let's see. I think I want this one as the font. We're going to do this up here. I'm going to put that. Oh, stop. What was the suggested title? Let me see. Spaces. I've got my podcast titles there. I think I like this one. Effects, let's see. We'll outline it in green. No. We'll outline it in a little less bold. Let's shrink it down a little. Okay. Okay, and we'll put uploads. We're gonna put Apple in here. You switched from Kramer. I'm glad you switched from Kramer, but Kramer's, listen, I was talking to my buddy last night. He got into NVDA in 2019, based on Kramer. I mean, Kramer has made quite a bit of people millionaires, and he credits Kramer with that. He said, I wouldn't have bought NVIDIA without Kramer. And so, again, he's done an incredible job. Apple. Yeah, if you can catch those, Larry, that algo is an amazing, amazing tool. Microsoft. Uploads. NVIDIA. I think, isn't there a green? Yeah. Transparency. Yeah. Let's just undo that. I think what I'll do is I'll do one color on NVIDIA. I think, yeah, let's do white. And we're going to change that. NVIDIA. Ooh. That uploads. Yeah, so Nathan, what I do is I just Google the logo, the company name, logo, transparent. Usually Wikipedia has them. And then you can use that background remover. Let's put Amazon in there. Don't think I Broadcom. I know I did Broadcom. You know what? Let's see if we change this. There we go. Broadcom. And I'm not super organized on this either, but city, MicroStrategy. We can put MicroStrategy since we did that one. Zoom, Snowflake, Webull, FinViz, Rocket Lab. Did that one. Close, Spotfiy, Shark Ninja, Vova, Marvel, Okta. I think that's good. If I put that one over there, let's see. get rid of these. And we'll just do that. I think that's a good one. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what ATR is either. So I'd have to ask that too. Okay. I'm out of here. You guys have a great weekend. See you. Bye.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading